On October 15, 1987, a dream was shattered. Thomas Sankara, the fiery young leader of Burkina Faso, a man hailed as Africa's Che Guevara, was committed to transforming his country into a beacon of self-reliance and anti-colonialism. But as he rose to bring his people hope and change, powerful forces were plotting his downfall. That fateful day began like any other, but to end in the assassination of a revolutionary. In the halls of power, allies turned enemies, and betrayal came from closest of ranks. As shots rang out, the life of an icon was cut short, and Burkina Faso was plunged into mourning and uncertainty. Hi guys, welcome to Afriverse Historic. On today's episode, we revisit the tragic day that Thomas Sankara, a leader of the people and the hero of Africa, was killed. This is a story of betrayal, power, and the end of a revolution. Do stay tuned and enjoy the ride. On the 15th of October 1987, the leader of the Burkinabe Revolution was assassinated. 2 years later, Senin Adremirado, executive-in-chief of Jean Afrique and an acquaintance of the former head of state, published he was called Sankara. Here is an account of the president of Burkina Faso's last day on earth. When Miriam woke up, Thomas Sankara, who had finally joined her in bed, in his turn fell asleep. On her tiptoes, the president's wife leaves the room and prepares to go to work. She has to be there at 3 p.m. Sankara will fall asleep for another hour. This daily nap is the only time that the night owl gets to recover. A break all the more important, seeing as the afternoon and the night of 15th October 1987 are going to be long. A report for one of his advisors, who had just returned from Cotonou, where he was speaking with leaders of Revolutionary People's Party of Benin, and collected documents on the Beninese Code of Revolutionary Conduct, the project to create a newspaper of the National Council of the Revolutionary, CNR. At 8 p.m., there will be a complicated meeting regarding the Revolutionary Military Organization, OMR. Around 3:30 p.m., Miriam Sankara calls him on the phone. Daddy is in the shower, answers his eldest son, Felipe, who was 7 years old at the time. She calls back 10 minutes later. The president in sportswear, since the morning white t-shirt and red jogging trousers, is ready to leave. First, I am going to my 4 p.m. meeting at the Conseil d'Enton, he said. Then, I am going to sport at 5 p.m. Afterwards, I will probably come home for a shower, but won't be home yet. I won't see you till after the 8 p.m. meeting. We will talk tonight. In the meantime, the members of the special cabinet had begun to arrive in one of the villas of the Cartel Council, which serves as the headquarters of the NCR. Aluna Traore and Pauline Babu Bamuni made a detour through the offices to the presidency just opposite. The others include Bonaventure Compaoré, Frederick Kiemde, and Patrick Zagre, came directly to the office. Christophe Saba, the permanent secretary of the CNR, has been there since this morning. At 4:20 p.m., he decided to call the president, who had not yet left his residence, where he was talking with one other of his advisors, the deputy director of the presidential press, Sergei Théophile Balima. We are here, Mr. President. It is late and we are waiting for you. I will be right there, Sankara replies. He sends Balima back and gets into a black Peugeot 205. The president sat in the passenger seat as usual. I like to see the road, and from behind you can't see anything. He often has to explain. In the back seat are sat 2 bodyguards. The car following them is occupied by 3 other bodyguards, plus the driver, also a soldier. They are all dressed in sportswear this Thursday afternoon. Twice a week, in fact, on Monday and Thursday from 5 p.m., Burkina are supposed to do exercise. The president and his guards are often only armed with their automatic pistol. At the council, the members of the special firm are also dressed in sportswear, with the exception of Patrick Zagre, who came in a Mao shirt. At 4 p.m., Muni and Frederick Kiemde were seated on his right hand. On his left are Patrick Zagre, Bonaventure Compaoré, and Aluna Traoré. Thomas Sankara, always late but always in a hurry, opened the working section. "Let me make it quick, let's start," he said. Aluna Traoré, who the day before had left on a fact-finding mission in Cotonou, begins his report. "I left Wogo the day before yesterday at 6 p.m. He stops, his voice suddenly muffled at the sound of most likely a pierced exhaust pipe from an approaching vehicle. Shocked and annoyed, Sankara asks, "What is that noise?" Soon joined by Saba, who frowns, "What is that noise?" The noise suddenly gets louder. "A car, a Peugeot 504 or a covered Toyota," says the only direct witness who survived. The car stopped in front of the small gate of the villa. Immediately, the noise of the engine was covered by the roar of Kalashnikov shots. The 7 men gathered in the room, flat on the floor, hiding behind the armchairs. Among them, the only one to be armed since his guards remained in the corridor or in the garden was Sankara, who grabbed his gun, which had been placed on the table, within reach. From outside, someone shouts, "Get out! Come out!" Sankara gets up, sighs loudly and orders his counsel, "Stay, stay, it's me they want." He leaves the meeting room with his hands in the air. He had barely stepped out of the door before he was shot, says Aluna Traoré. The attackers came to kill. The guards, the drivers and the biker from the police, Sure Patinema, who came by chance to bring mail to the CNR headquarters, had all been shot in the first burst of gunfire. A former member of the president of Burkina Faso's guard, a man nicknamed Otis, who had since been reinstated in the ranks of the para-commandos of Po, commanded by Captain Blaise Compaoré, who made him one of his drivers, bursts into the meeting room, pushes the president's collaborators towards the exit. "Out! Get out! Get out!" All those who obeyed were shot in turn. At the last moment, Patrick Zagre tries to take refuge in the meeting room. A shot in the back finishes him off. If you're enjoying this video so far, please take out some time to like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it will go a long way in supporting us. Thank you. Now let's get back to the video. Aluna Traoré, through sheer fear or survivorship, both perhaps, found himself lying on the gravel alive. Bathed in the blood of his comrades, whose moans and sighs and agony he hears as if he was in a nightmare. 4 civilian members of the special cabinet, Pauline Bamoni, Patrick Zagre, Frederick Kiemde, and Bonaventure Compaoré, 8 soldiers including warrant officer Christophe Saba, a poor police officer who was passing by, and drivers of the presidential convoy, and 4 bodyguards. Aluna stepped over the police officer's body without even realizing it. He looked over his shoulder. He sees Thomas Sankara on the floor. 2 shots to the head immediately killed him. He hears someone shouting, "There is one who isn't dead. The one in blue. Let him get up." Aluna Traoré, the man in blue tracksuit, stands up. He feels agitated, covered in blood without any scratch on him. Around him, The commandos were still firing, but this time in the air, in the conspired de entente, and with acrimony, as if they wanted to believe that they were really fighting and defending themselves. This went on for a long time, perhaps 30 minutes. They used up all of their ammunition this way. Haruna Compaoré stood on the ground. From the corner of his eyes, he sees the driver guard of Captain Blaise Compaoré's body, Hamid Omega, walking towards him wearing a blue mechanic's overall. He looks at Haruna and says to the others, "Leave it, I'll finish him off." An officer shouted, "Bring me the survivor." Haruna is brought to him, and he orders him to lie down again. "How long did you stay like that on that floor?" 2 or 3 hours, he says, without further explanation, until a soldier threatens him. "You saw everything. We can't let you live like that. You are going to join the others." Haruna does not understand the situation he is in. He has gone beyond the stage of fear and has taken refuge in the world of absurd. Ever since lying between the corpses, an image has haunted him, a photo of Mother Teresa, Nobel Prize winner, in the middle of young miserable Indians, who he had looked at for a very long time that morning. And for now, his only desire is to urinate. He is allowed to do so, and he goes to relieve himself for a long time between the flowers of the garden of the conspired de entente, transformed that very afternoon into a killing field. He was then taken upstairs to the floor of the villa where the CNR agents were grouped together, who heard everything without having seen anything of the drama. The doctor warrant officer Yusuf Vidraugo, assistant to the warrant officer Christophe Saba, and the whole secretariat of the Laurent Kabore, who also worked at the CNR. In the middle of them, he was surprised to discover Bosobe, a guard of the president. Haruna Traoré's blue sport outfit was soaked in blood. His hands, face and hair were bloody. He is told to wash himself and then to sit down. Long after the sun had set, Haruna hears the cars maneuver in the alleys of the cartel council. He risks a glance at the window. The 13 corpses have disappeared. Tankers are clearing the scene of the drama with large water jets. He will spend the night behind the scenes. He won't sleep. Turning over and over in his head is the same question: what could the president have done to deserve this? Relaunched at the beginning of 2015 by the transitional regime after the fall of Blaise Compaoré, the investigation into the assassination of Thomas Sankara is being concluded by the military examining magistrate, François Yamego. Of the 17 people who had been charged, 6 are in pretrial detention, including Gilbert Diendere, Blaise Compaoré's former private chief of staff. 2 other indictees, accused of having played a major role in the case, are still at large in Burkina Faso and are subject to an international arrest warrant: Blaise Compaoré and Hyacinthe Kafando. Exiled to Abidjan, Compaoré is not expected to face Judge Yamego anytime soon, as the Ivorian authorities seem reluctant to extradite him. The second, Hyacinthe Kafando, former head of Compaoré's close guards and leader of the squad that murdered Sankara, was summoned by the judge on 22nd of June 2015, but the former MP never appeared before the military court. He fled the country without leaving a trace and is also, according to our sources, a fugitive in Côte d'Ivoire. Apart from Compaoré and Kafando, most of the suspects were trailed. Summoned twice in 2016 by Judge Yamego, Salif Diallo, the former head of Compaoré, who died last August, denied any responsibility to do with the assassination of Sankara. He also added that Blaise Compaoré could not ignore what was being planned. As for Gilbert Diendere, he said he had not been informed of any operation against Sankara and that it was Hyacinthe Kafando who took the initiative. Gilbert Diendere was one of the officers of the army during the 1987 coup and the main defendant, who was actually present at the trial, was also sentenced to life. He is already serving a 20-year sentence for a coup attempt in 2015. His lawyer described the sentence as excessive, saying that he should have been credited for testifying at the trial, unlike others who were tried in absentia. 8 other defendants received sentences ranging from 3 to 20 years, while 3 defendants were acquitted. Judge Amigo, for his part, is interested in possibility of foreign involvement, in particular French, Ivorian, and Togolese. He has sent a letter of request to Paris, asking for the lifting of the defense secrecy on certain archives and the hearings of various people. The French authorities responded in May, saying that they have no objection, but that they first need to obtain a certain number of clarifications. While in power, Sankara changed the name of his country from his colonial one, Upper Volta, to Burkina Faso, meaning the land of honest people. He cut his own salary and that of top civil servants, and sold off a range of luxury cars. During his 4 years in power, he promoted Pan-Africanism, self-sufficiency, real independence for former colonial power France, and gender equality by banning female circumcision and polygamy. However, his critics point out to alleged human rights abuses against his opponents. In 2019, a 16-feet statue of him was erected in Burkina Faso's capital, Ouagadougou. Thanks for watching the video, guys. I would love to know your thoughts about the betrayal of Thomas Sankara by his close friends and allies, especially his friend, Blaise Compaoré, who became the president of Burkina Faso. Please leave them in the comment section down below. Don't forget to smash a like and subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification button to get more content like this about African history. It's Nnamdi from Afroverse Historic. See you in the next video.